Flashing bright light. Please immediately stop playing until the doctor. Lightheaded, alter vision. Alright, here we are. For the first time this season and in chat, we are not playing Splatoon 3. Yep. We're 33 episodes into the season, and we have only played Splatoon 3. But for just this once, we're gonna, I don't know, we'll see how it goes. But I at least know for today, we're gonna play some Vampire Survivors. Do they tell you how long I've been playing? I'm kind of curious. Okay, I might say somewheres, because I don't know how much I've been playing, but I'm maybe like 2 or 3 hours in. So this is a brand new save file. I have not played that much of this game. I have probably maybe overall between Xbox, mobile, and now the Switch version, I've maybe put 10 hours into this game total. So we're just gonna pick someone generic. We're going to go to generic level. Oops. Generic. Generic first level. And let's go. So, if you've never played Vampire Survivors, it's a very interesting game, to say the least. I'm not actually hitting any buttons. Oh, you know what I always meant to try? Can we play this with a single Joy-Con? I bet we can. You know, that was always something I was curious about. Can you play Vampire Survivors with a single Joy-Con? Because it feels like a single Joy-Con game. But I haven't actually tried it. So this is a game, if you've never played this, if you've never even heard of it, for many people I knew this was their game of the year last year. But because I mainly play Switch, and this game wasn't on Switch, I hadn't played it. So, now that it's out on Switch as of, I want to say like Thursday or Friday, I had made the... So the whole reason I'm playing this, right, besides for it, you know, being many people's game of the year, is because back in like November of last year, so, you know, a while ago, I made a deal with the developers that if they ever put the game on Switch, I would put 100 hours into it. You know, mostly as a joke, right? Like, that was mostly a joke. But I'm a man of my words. So I'm gonna... So, hopefully over the rest of the year, I'm going to hopefully put 100 hours into this game. That is more than I put into Tears of the Kingdom. By, like, 10 hours. I want to say I only put 90 into Tears of the Kingdom. But yeah, this is... For many people, this was their game of the year. I have played a little of it. We will be talking about what little I have played eventually, right, in a little bit, after we get through the news during WIBE. But yeah, 100 hours into Vampire Survivors. Because yeah, people really love this game. It's super popular. Sure. I don't know, I played it. The mobile port is, if you've never played it, I highly recommend trying out the mobile port at least. Because the mobile port is actually very good. The monetization, like the ads and whatnot, are very, like, non-intrusive, right? Like, it's very good with how it does advertising. I have no idea how it will work as an in-chat game. But I gotta try, you know? But yeah, I'm literally not pressing a single button right now. I'm just moving around my character. The whip is automatic. Those little fire grenades. Are they called Santa water now? I know they're supposed to be like holy water from Castlevania. But I think they're called Santa water? I don't remember them being called Santa water. I thought they were Satan water, but they're not called Satan water either. Yeah, they're called Santa water. How weirdly strange. Yeah, I'm not an expert on this game. I know nothing. I've never even looked anything up. I have not put that much time into this. One of my roommates put a shitload of time into this game on the Xbox. But on the... because it's on Game Pass as well. So if you have Game Pass, both on PC and console, the little time I've put on into this game has been on Game Pass. And I put a little bit to mobile, just because I was kind of curious to see how the port was. It's actually a decent port. But it finally came to Switch, man. I've been waiting. I've been waiting so long. So I guess that means it could be Game of the Year. God. It really is the best year in gaming. I know this game came out last year. Still, best year in gaming. So, tonight, we've got 3 stories. Yeah, 3. We actually do... one of the stories is about Splatoon, even though we're not actually playing Splatoon tonight. I think that's ironic and funny. That's kind of why I did it. Yeah, okay, I want that. One story's about that, and then we've got a story about Xbox, and we got a story about Pokemon, because, yeah, the Pokemon World Champions were this week, and I do want to talk about them, just for one specific thing that was kind of mentioned, you know, give my thoughts on that. And, yeah, and then we'll talk about WIBE, and we'll talk more about how my playthroughs on Switch have been going. Right, in my 2 of 100 hours I've probably put into this game. So yeah, I guess let's start with Pokemon. So, what has been going on with Pokemon? Well, so the Pokemon World Championships were last week, right? 5 days of nothing but Pokemon, right? Yeah, tons of championships, card games, video games, all sorts of other shiz. And during all that, at one point the developers of the Pokemon games talked about sustainability, right? Like, hey, if we're putting out a game every year, how do we sustain a level of quality? Because that's exactly what they have not been doing, right? As it's kind of known by now, the Pokemon games have a serious lack in quality that causes some real issues and makes people really dislike them, right? Sword and Shield, Scarlet and Violet, right? Many number of reasons, many problems with their games. And so one of the things the Pokemon Company, right, mentioned, and they didn't really give any solutions, they just brought up the idea, is, right, they're talking about trying to maintain quality in their games while also keeping the yearly release schedule. And I think that's just the wrong way to look at it. That instead they should be focused on making good games, yearly release schedule be damned. Because I think that's the solution, right? That's what I've been, you know, for all of Sword and Shield's many problems, and for all of Scarlet and Violet's many problems, it is kind of nice that they basically make the game, and then instead of rushing right back into the next game, they instead then spend a year on the DLC. Right? That's kind of, it, at least in my head, it makes me hope that something is going on in the background. Is something actually going on in the background? I have no idea. But you know, a man can dream. Because we did also have that problem of last year, where within a 12-month span of time, we got Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl. 3 months later, we got Legends Arceus. And then 6 months after, maybe, was it 6? Might be 7 or 8. 7 or 8 months after that, we got Scarlet and Violet. 3 Pokemon games in a 12-month period. That's way too many Pokemon games for that sort of time. We should have maybe gotten one of those. Scarlet and Violet could have easily... they could have pushed Legends Arceus back a year. Right, given that game more time in the oven, even though it's a great game, you know, polished a few things up, because I really do enjoy Legends Arceus. Right, they could have polished a few things up, give that game some more time in the oven, released it when they released Scarlet and Violet, and then they could have released Scarlet and Violet this year. You know, spent another basically year plus in the oven for that game. Because you listen to Breath of the Wild's development, and how the Breath of the Wild developers, or Tears of the Kingdom developers, I mean, spent basically an entire year. Increase enemy... Oh, okay. I had never gotten this weapon before. This is the first time I've ever seen this. I actually don't love that. That's actually not great. But right, Tears of the Kingdom, the last year of that game's development was entirely bug fixes. Right? They spent an entire year just doing bug fixes. And they still missed some, some duplication bugs. A very simple one. And Pokemon Scarlet and Violet and Legends Arceus have way more bugs than that. And way more issues. So, yeah, and no modern game sadly releases without bugs. Right? Especially open world. But some level of bugginess is fine. Right? I really do like... for Tears of the Kingdom, yeah, does it have bugs? Totally. Is it still a very fun game, bugs and all? Yeah. And I can say the same thing about Skyrim. Skyrim is a very buggy game. Nevertheless, it is still a very fun game. I still really enjoy Skyrim. Haven't played it in 10 years. But that doesn't change the fact that it is a good game. Or it's a fun game. Bugs and all. So that kind of takes me to how I feel. Right, Pokemon. I enjoyed Legends Arceus, right? I liked it more than Scarlet and Violet. But each of those games could have spent another 6 months to a year in the oven. And they would have just been better. They would have, been improved at launch. They would have had less bugs, less problems. And so, with the Pokemon Company talking about doing yearly releases, no, you don't need to do yearly releases. I know, at the end of the day, the Pokemon... and people talk about this all the time, whether or not it's true. I do think there's some evidence to this, that at the end of the day, the Pokemon Company is not a video game developer. They're a merchandise company, right? The video games... The toys don't exist to sell the video games. The video games exist to sell the toys. And yeah, no, that is true. I totally do believe that. The video games exist to sell the toys, to make new Pokemon, that they can eventually turn into new toys. That's totally how it works. No. So yeah, no. At the end of the day, the Pokemon, right? Like, if the game's not great, who cares? They'll just make a new one, or, right, they'll just put out the next one. And in the meantime, people will buy plushies, they'll buy the trading card game, they'll buy whatever they need. So the Pokemon Company has no real incentive to make a game that's beyond decent. And even when the games are decent, they still sell millions of units, right? Sword and Shield, or Scarlet and Violet, had the second best opening of any Pokemon game, besides Red and Blue? Come on. Nope, there we go. We got surrounded. I had no vertical attack and my axes weren't doing well. So yeah, they really did not have any incentive to, make the game better, if that makes any sense. I know some people will totally disagree with me on that, and I get some of the disagreement, but there is definitely some truth to that, and even I've disagreed with that statement in the past, right? It's a very cynical way of looking at things, but we are also talking about capitalism here. And capitalism, by its nature, is very cynical. Rightfully so. It's capitalism, after all. So, yeah, I really do, I would much rather have the Pokemon Company take a year off in between games and, actually put something out of quality, especially now that we're making 3D open world games. And I know, technically, Diamond and Pearl were made by a different studio, But, you know, those games have their own problems. I do stand by part of it is because Diamond and Pearl don't hold up as well as people think. I mean, Platinum fixes some of those problems, but not all of them. And should some of Platinum's fixes have been in Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl? Yes. Probably. But that... I don't know. It's a complicated thing. I guess that's what I'm getting down to. It's very complicated. I think I want that. So I don't know. The other Pokemon thing I got to talk about is the second episode of that that animated Pokemon series that it's called like Path to the Peak or something. It reminds me of Luca, right? I've compared it to that before. Well, the next episode of that came out, and it's also kind of fun. You know, we've got that other girl. I think what was her name? Celestine. Right, so they go to regionals. She plays Pokemon cards at regionals. She beats all of her opponents. There's a real funny moment where her dad, the bully beats up her dad, which I don't know. I found that very funny. Because at one point her dad, like, gets distracted by, like, a Pikachu hat. But then later on comes back and, yeah, gets beaten up by the bully, beats her in Pokemon cards. They're definitely... I think I mentioned it last week that, like, the mom probably used to be some sort of Pokemon champion or something. And definitely you get that moment where, like, right before she leaves to the competition, the mom, like, wants to talk to her about something. But before she can, right, she ends up leaving. But it's, like, clearly the mom used to be, like, some sort of master or champion or something. Like, they're clearly leading something in there with that. So I hope that pays off soon. I don't know how many episodes this is going to be. If I had to guess, it's going to be like 2 or 3 more. Probably 2 more, I would guess. But it's still fun. I still love the animation, you know, seeing the ghost Pokemon in this new episode and like the ghost forest and everything. That all looked very nice. It's pretty cool. It's a fun little enjoyable series. They're all on YouTube, but yeah, I recommend them. Because I am still a slave to the Pokemon brand. Nothing has changed. When the DLC comes out next month, you better believe I'll be there to play it. Because nothing has changed. Pokemon still owe... It was one of my first games. It still owes my soul. Nothing has changed. Even 20 plus years later. So yeah, that's the Pokemon Company. Delay your games. You're still making buku bucks anyways. You can afford to delay your games. Make bigger development teams as well. Because that's another thing that I didn't even mention. Is that the Pokemon Company is like still the... is the most profitable multimedia franchise in the world. If they needed to delay their games, they totally could afford to. So next up, let's talk about Splatoon, the Drizzle season. Where are my notes? So yeah, I want to say I called the name Drizzle season at one point. Right? I was like, oh yeah, the Drizzle season makes sense as a name. Like, I bet that's going to be a thing. I want to say we talked about that. And yeah, sure enough, it's called the Drizzle season. So what's in the Drizzle season? Well, we got 2 new stages, first off. 2 brand... Right, I don't think they announced any returning stages. Instead, we got 2 brand new ones. The first one is called Crab Lake Capital, which... It seems to be an S... Like an S-shaped stage? Which, in theory, that's nice, right? Like an S-shaped stage that it has, like, kind of... I don't like Mincemeat Metalworks, but it has, like, those grates overhead that, you know, you can walk off of, but if you turn into a squid, you kind of fall through. So it's kind of doing that thing, but that seems interesting, right? It seems like a rather interesting level. I don't know, it's got potential. And then the other one is called Ship-Shaped Cargo Co. So it's, you know, Hocotate Freight, but with sea ships. I do want that. So that seems it. You know, I feel like we know less about the second stage. I don't know. Maybe I might even be mixing the stages up now that I think about it. But there are definitely some interesting things going on here. Yeah, you know, most of the Splatoon 3 stage design is kind of a mess. I know we've talked about it before, right? Like, during my dark period, as I'm going to call it, right, I started to see the flaws in Splatoon 3's level design. Or, you know, I knew about them, but, like, I started to, like, actually, like, see them and experience them as I played the game. And realize, like, oh god, this sucks. But, you know, I eventually got through that and kept playing the game. And I still do enjoy it. So, yeah, but 2 new stages, cool. We also did get another stage we got is, I had predicted they were going to bring back Arc Polaris. And I still think the Ruins of Arc Polaris is going to come eventually. But no, as it turns out, the next stage is Salmonid Smokeyard, which is the level with the propellers. I'll be honest, I do not remember liking this stage. The one with the propellers. I do not remember that being a very fun stage. But they're bringing it back, because I remember the propellers just being really annoying. Yeah, no, propeller stage is back. I don't know if they've made any decent changes to it. I still have not played Jam and Salmon Junction. Every time I boot up Splatoon 3, it has not been in rotation. Not that I've played Splatoon 3 that much. I mostly just played on stream. But yeah, I've been real disappointed at never having Jam and Salmon Junction in the rotation. That's been a letdown several times. But, you know, here we go. Instead we got the new stage. I do definitely need to play Salmon Run, because I don't think I've gotten this month's gear either. We might have even done it tonight. I don't know. I didn't even check the rotation. Because I knew we weren't gonna... Because I knew we were playing Vampire Survivors. I had decided that a while ago. Like yesterday. Let's see, what else? So there's a new adjustable gear feature. So, you know, you have tons of hats in Splatoon. And, like, you have, like, snapbacks and whatnot. Well, this new feature allows you to turn snapbacks backwards. So, you know, if you wear a hat with the brim in the front, you can now wear the brim in the back. It's a very minor thing, but it's like, okay, you know, that's a little neat detail. It doesn't change. It's a purely cosmetic feature, but I like it. It's a little bit of charm. I think it's neat. Wow, that is far. That is very far away. So, yeah, I think this new adjustable gear, you know, I don't know if it's going to be on every hat. Definitely not going to be on every hat, but it looks like it's probably going to be on, like, every snapback and whatnot. And I'm like, okay, cool, I guess. You know, if you're going to do it, you might as well just go for it. So that's what they're doing. You know, hopefully they have fun with it. Yeah, you know, it allows more creativity. It definitely does make me think, like, oh, maybe I should start wearing a snapback. Do I have any good ones? I don't think I do. I don't know. I've been wearing the same gear the entire season. So, yeah. We got 2 new weapons. The first one is the Heavy Edit Splatling. So, it's a, you know, we had the it was called the Snipe Rider earlier this year, so now we have another pen-based one. I know there's also a pen-based Splatling, but this is, you know, probably going to be a mix between that shooter, which I'll be honest, I do not remember the name of the other of what the is it called? It's not called the Snipe. The Snipe Rider is a sniper. Whatever the shooter, whatever the Splatling is, that is a pen. Is it called the ballpoint? Yeah, I've never used it. But yeah, it's basically, I'm gonna guess it's gonna be like the ballpoint, but a heavy version of the ballpoint. Which actually doesn't sound that bad. That's not a terrible idea at all. So it looks kind of, yeah, it looks like that's what they're going for. Huh, I've never seen 4 items in a level up before. That's interesting. I've never seen that. But no, I think this new weapon is, right, that's like an interesting idea. And then the other one, I have it written down here as the bread box. Because it's called, like, the Dread something. It's called, like, the... Oh, God, I don't even remember the actual name. But when I first saw it, I thought it was a bread box, right? Or it's based on, not a bread box, but, like, one of those, like, bread... Like, a bread loaf maker thing. Right? That's what I thought the weapon was based on. Right? Like a bread maker. But no, I'm pretty sure it's actually based on a mop bucket. Yeah, I'm pretty sure the new weapon is based on a mop bucket, which makes, for a sloshing machine, makes a lot more sense. But no, for some reason I thought it looked like a... My first thought was it looked like a bread maker. But no, it's definitely a mop bucket, that's for sure. But it seems like an interesting little weapon, you know, I'll give it that. It seems like it could be okay. It shoots off like 2 shots, like 1 long range and 1 close range. Or, you know, something like that. Like, it's got like 2 shots in it. So it doesn't look like a bad weapon. As you know, I currently use a bucket in Splatoon. Right? Like, my current weapon is a bucket. So maybe I'll pick up this new bucket. I don't know. The crazy thing about Splatoon is that there are no bad bucket weapons. Because, okay, well, yes, the Blobbler is bad, but it is fun to play. And for that reason, I cut it some slack. Because it is a very fun to play weapon. And that means a lot to me. And every other bucket is just actually, like, generally a good weapon. So that's cool as well. Ooh. Evolve the magic wand. Okay. Oh, I'm trying to find the actual bread bucket's name. It's called... Oh, God, what is it called? The Dread Ringer. Okay, for some reason I thought it was, yeah, the bread ringer, for some reason. You know, like, get that bread. But no, it's definitely based off of a mop bucket. That is for sure a thing. And yeah, it looks like a fine weapon. So, that might be cool. You know, that'll be cool to check out when the game eventually releases. So I don't need any... Okay. So yeah, that's neat. You know, that's a neat little weapon. Sure. The bread ringer. I'm gonna keep calling it the bread ringer. I just want to make that clear. Lightning, I guess? Even though I now know its real name, that does not matter. Let's see, what else? So we got of course, some new gear for existing weapons. And finally, everybody's favorite weapon. It's not even everybody's favorite, but the one weapon that I've seen people asking for to get a variant since day 1 is finally getting its variant. The gold dynamo is in the game. For all of those people who have been asking for the gold dynamo, here we go. It's in the game. You can now rejoice. Of course, will it have an awful kit? Probably. But hey, it's in the game now. Another weapon that is getting brought back is the Sorella umbrella. And the good thing about that is that it seems to have a good kit. It definitely looks like it has jetpack. What's jetpack called? I'm forgetting the name of the jetpack weapon. But it looks like it's got jetpack on it. And It's got either suction bomb or auto bomb. Either way, that would make a good kit. Does that mean it's actually going to be a good weapon? We'll see. I mean, Brellas are the worst weapon in the game. Just no questions asked. Brellas are the worst weapon in the game. So, it might be good, but it also might not be. You know, the kit's doing a lot of heavy lifting there. But if they buff Brellas correctly, you know, it might actually be a good weapon. It's totally possible. But it also might not be. You know, either option is sadly a possibility. So we'll have to see how it all turns out. But I'm a little hopeful, I guess. You know, I think it can go great. Will I actually use... Because I used Umbrella in 3. Will I use Umbrella again in this game? Probably not. I don't know if there's anything right that can get me to go back to Brella. Especially because all my Brella skills I built up over years. I then lost when I didn't play Splatoon for a while. And I haven't used... Right, in the entire year Splatoon 3's been out, I've never used Brella. So, yeah, we'll see. But I'm going to guess no. What else we got? So they introduced some new challenge modes. It doesn't look that they changed how challenge modes work, sadly. Yeah, it looks like challenge modes are still going to work exactly the same. Which sucks. You know, that sucks to hear that challenge modes haven't changed. But they did add in some new ones. There was like a swimming one that I think makes you swim faster. Probably maxes out swim speed or something. There's a modded Rainmaker. Now the hope for modded Rainmaker... modded Rainmaker actually got leaked. The developers actually leaked modded Rainmaker like a day before this was all announced on Twitter. Yeah, they accidentally leaked it. But it looks like modded Rainmaker is actually like a 3-shot Rainmaker. Right, it shoots... It what's a good example? It shoots like a, what's a good example? I don't know. It basically shoots in like a 3 pattern. I would say like a Stinger, but I don't know if that's right. I'm not going to say it shoots like a Tri-Slosher. It's more like arched out than that. But the hope was that maybe it was going to play like the Rainmaker did in Splatoon 1, where it was a giant tornado. But it seems like that is not the case, which is sad. Because the Rainmaker playing like the tornado would have been a neat thing. But nope, we can only work with what we got. So we might as well just work with it. Pentagram may have been a mistake there. I don't know, we'll see. We're almost at 50. Which is huge. So yeah. But, you know, they're adding... I still don't like how the challenge modes work, right? How they only... Like, they should be like a daily thing. Instead, they only are like an hourly thing, and that just sucks. I'm almost never on for that hour. We've only ever caught one on stream, and we just got super lucky with that one. Other than that, we have basically missed all of them. Because they're just never... And, like, usually they're at, like, 1 in the morning or something. Or, you know, some inconvenient time like that. You know, it just never really works out. But... you never know. Let's see, what else do I have? So, they did also... So, for the 3rd month in a row, we are getting a Splatfest. This new Splatfest is the, it's going to be, for the 1-year anniversary, it's going to be a Deep Cut Splatfest. So it's going to be who would be the leader of Deep Cut. Shiver, Frey, or Big Man. I almost messed up their names. I think that's a fun idea for a Splatfest. If I'm being honest, I like the idea of throwing the three against each other. You know, kind of like the Callie and Murray Splatfest in the original game. I do not think this is the last Splatfest. I'm pretty sure the game's got at least another year of content in it. But it's neat to get nevertheless. So I am all excited for that, you know, cool Splatfest. It's in the middle of September, but also, I want to say the day the update goes live, we're also getting either a new big run or a new, excellent. I want to say it's big run. We're getting a new big run. I don't know what map the big run's going to be on, but from what it sounds like, it's going to have a new weapon in it. So they're introducing a new Grizzco weapon, and it's going to be introduced during Big Run. So that's cool. You know, we don't know what the weapon is. We just know we're getting a new one. Come on. Yeah, garlic. There we go. The Soul Eater. That's what I'm talking about. So, yeah. Other than that, the last thing that was announced is that, yes, finally, with the 1-year anniversary, they have announced the deep cut amiibos. So Frey, Shiver, and Big Man are getting amiibos, and those will be coming out in November. I'm assuming they're coming out the same time as the Tears of the Kingdom amiibo. That would make the most sense. I think those are also coming out in November. Is Sora also coming out in November? Because we still have a Sora amiibo, potentially. Or, you know, Nintendo is going to announce that, hey, guess what, they aren't making a Sora amiibo. Either way, it is possible. So, yeah. I hope it happens just because every amiibo, and they're supposedly Nintendo's doing a massive restock, so if you're ever missing anything, well, hey, now's a good chance to probably get some of this stuff. But yeah, no, I'll definitely be, you know, I have every other Splatoon amiibo. I'll pick up the deep cut amiibos, sure. We don't know what gear they're unlocking, we just have them. My one problem with the deep cut amiibos is that they're based on, you know, in the story mode where, they do, like, the pose with their masks on, or, right, where they're taking off their masks, more or less. It's based on that. So, like, Frey's face is partially covered by her mask. And it'll probably look better on the actual figure. But just in the one picture we got, that kind of sucks. But, you know, other than that, it looks fine. The other, you know, Shiver and Big Man both look good. I like how they have the red, blue, and yellow colors of ink. That's cool. You know, it still annoys me that the Splatoon 3 logo does not have red ink in it. Because it was clearly designed to have red ink in it. Like, if you look at that logo right there, right, you've got red, or you've got blue, you've got yellow, and the bottom one is supposed to be red. And it was for a while, like, there was a promo art that had it as red when they announced the Tricolor Turf War, but for some reason they never updated that logo. So, I don't know why that never happened. It kind of sucks. But no, Frey, Shiver, and Big Man, right, are red, blue, and yellow, respectively. So that's cool, and hopefully it'll be a fun Splatfest. I can tell you who's going to win, obviously, because I know how this all turns out. But it'll be cool nevertheless. So yeah, that's the Sizzle season. That's cool. You know, it'll be here in September. Of course, we'll be there. We'll be playing. I enjoy Splatoon. I haven't really... We're like only level like 54 in the current season. I am definitely not getting to 100. I think I said that last week as well. That, like, you know, I just really have not been playing. Oh, I've never gotten this before. Okay, that's... Okay, that was neat, I guess. So next up, let's talk about Xbox. So Xbox put out a thing that they are finally shutting down the Xbox 360 store page in July of 2024. So that is still a full year away, but, you know, we knew it was all going to happen eventually, right? Like, we've heard other, like, PlayStation talked about shutting down their store, or the Vita store a few years, right, like last year or something. And I'm honestly surprised the 360 store stayed open as long as it did. I think I'm more surprised just because Nintendo kills off their shit so fast. But of course, like always, this brings up the problem of game preservation, right? So many 360 games are just going to be lost to time. Like, really, real talk, who's playing No Luca No anymore? But, you know, even though that's a weird, dumb game, it's still going to be technically lost to time because of this. And, you know, all those other weird rage quit games from over the years. Sadly, those all become lost media, because that's the society we live in. Now, there is some good news in here. It's not all doom and gloom. Because they did announce that, right, well, they're shutting down the 360 store. Any games that exist on Xbox One or Xbox Series X, which I think they're basically the exact same libraries. Any games that exist in those backwards compatibility libraries will also be will still be available. So while they're shutting down the 360 store, that does not affect backwards compatible games. Right? Like Red Dead Redemption recently came to Switch and PlayStation, but it didn't come to Xbox because Xbox is still backwards compatible with the 360. But guess what? With the store shutting down, that would mean, in theory, you would no longer be able to play Red Dead Redemption on Xbox. But because they have announced that they're not shutting down the store, that means that, yes, you will still be able to play Red Dead Redemption on your Xbox Series X, because it's a backwards compatible game. So even though, you know, there are still going to be many digital games that are lost to the hands of time, you know, media preservation and all that, and it's always a tragedy. Even games like No Luca No deserve to be preserved. This is honestly not as bad as what Nintendo's done. Right? Like, Nintendo just kills off their entire ecosystems. This is actually keeping some stuff up. Now, I will also say with the Xbox 360, they are also shutting down the TV and movies apps. So if you have any, like, TVs or movies that, you know, I think you should be able to access on the Xbox Series X and whatnot. Well, if you have any of those, they're shutting down TV and movies on the Xbox One. Which, I mean, the same thing happened on Switch, right, when it was like a year later after the Wii shop shut down. It might have even been a few years later. I want to say it was after the Switch released. Netflix eventually got shut down on the Wii, and so did YouTube. Because I was using YouTube and Netflix on the Wii during the Switch era. Like, for the first year I had a Switch, I still had a Tube TV. Yeah, most of my early, like, Switch gameplay, if I was playing it on, like, an actual, like, modern-ish thing, I was not playing it on a TV. I was playing it on a computer monitor. And then I eventually did get a TV, but yeah, I know, I was still using the Wii to play YouTube well into, like, 2017. Okay, we're coming up on things. Don't know what these things are, but we're getting close. So yeah, you know, it's another thing that we knew was going to happen eventually. It always sucks when shit like this happens, but it was sadly inevitable. But honestly, Xbox shutting this down is, yeah, better than when PlayStation shut everything down. Because PlayStation really fucked some shit over. Alright, there we go. There's my full upgrades. This this has been a pretty decent run, honestly. All things considered. So yeah, that's Xbox stuff. So that's our last news story. So actually, you know, let's get into WIBE, shall we? So, what have I been playing? Well, Vampire Survivors. So it came out on Switch, and I picked it up yesterday. I picked up Vampire Survivors and both of the DLCs, because I saw they were both available. And it cost me... I want to say it was like... Vampire Survivors itself was like 10% off, so it cost me less than $5. And I want to say each DLC was like less than $2. So, let's just round everything up and say I paid $9. You know, let's just round up and say that. And yeah, you know, it's a good game. I do enjoy me some Vampire Survivors. My first run on Switch actually went amazing. Like, it actually is... I'm not going to say it's my best run ever. It was probably my second best run ever. It actually went really well. And then my next run is my best run so far. Right? I had a really good run on this level, actually, that just went fantastic. And now this run's also going pretty good. Maybe we'll beat the level. Maybe we'll get to... Because we have to get 5 more minutes. Maybe we'll get lucky and get 5 more minutes. Maybe we won't. I don't know. We'll see. But you definitely believe I'm gonna try. I don't know. This guy's causing me a lot of problems right now. Oh, but there we go. So yeah, I've been having some good runs with Vampire Survivors. Every run after those first 2, you know, have kind of been a mess. Ooh, what's this? Evolved Lightning Ring. Huh, how did I unlock that? Oh, the Lightning Ring in the... Okay. Oh, you would have thought that we would have... Nah, I guess we couldn't have. Okay, I've never gotten this weapon before. Yeah, no, this run's going pretty great. My favorite weapon is actually the garlic. Of all things. Yeah, my favorite weapon is the garlic, and what we have, the upgraded version, the Soul Eater. I just like having that protection around your character. I think it is very nice to have just that little slice of protection. So that way, you know, you don't have to worry about anything. Of course, is it perfect? No. Will we get, in the last minute, will everything go to hell? Probably. But we've got a pretty good level of protection. We're not one-shotting, but we're getting really close to killing everything even close to us. We're leveling up very fast here. Honestly, having that fully upgraded magic wand is super nice. I'd never gotten that before, because the last time I did this, I didn't have the... Because I think you have to beat this level 1 time before you unlock the tome, and I hadn't unlocked the tome yet. Oh, did we pass that mask thing? I didn't even realize we passed that. But yeah, so I had 2 good runs, but yeah, no, I really do like the garlic. But I know weapons and whatnot get crazy in this game. You better believe I don't know everything about it. Right? There's still so much of this game I do not know. Because, yeah, you know, it's not like I'm reading a Wikipedia. I mean, I barely just got the bestiary. What is this? Thank you, Imelda Bell pays, but the vampire's in another coffin. Joins the survivors. Ooh, we got a new one. Cool. Okay, that's awesome. I've never done that before. Let's go see what that mask is, I guess. I mean, in our 3 minutes left. But yeah, no, this is a pretty great run. But yeah, this is, you know, Survivum. Are they? They're not called Survivum-ups, are they? Basically, this is like a brand new genre of game, kind of, and they're huge right now. Right? There are so many Survivor copycats, but the original is great, and I'm so glad it's finally come to Switch. I have been waiting so long, And here it finally is, and I can finally play it, and I can put as much time as I need into it, and it's going to be a great time, and I'm going to enjoy it, and I'm going to have so much fun with it. And yeah, by the end of the year, my goal is to put 100 hours in. Will that actually happen? We'll see, but I'm going to try my damnedest. Because, again, for many people I knew, this was either in their, like, top 3 or was their game of the year. And, of course, Steph Sterling also does all of the bestiary stuff. At least from, I want to say, the original game. I don't think they did one of the DLCs. But I'm excited to read that. I opened it up just to, like, once I unlocked it, and I saw the one for the skeletons that are unionized, and I was like, oh, that's very funny. You know, that's good. We're luckily keeping a pretty big circle around us. Last time I got this far, I was just surrounded on all sides. I had maybe, like, I was basically, like, I had just the direct area around me and nothing more, and it was kind of a nightmare. And I lost in, like, the final, like, minute. So maybe this time I actually will make it, or maybe we'll get completely surrounded. I don't know, things are going pretty well right now. But we'll see. Did I pass the mask again? No, we're right by it. I just don't know where. It must be over that way. God, look at this. It is a good game, though. It's so simple, yet so effective on all levels. And we've got 30 seconds left. And we are completely surrounded. But I think we're going to make it. I don't know. We've got a lot of shit. Oh, that saved us. That bought us another few seconds. Oh my gosh. And there we go. A successful run. I know it says game over. Or it says stage complete. Yep, there we go. 30,000 enemies over almost 4,000 gold. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about, baby. That is my first step. That is my first stage completion. Open the coffin in the library. Get the lightning ring to level 4. Get a rune tracer to level 7. Yeah, that was a pretty good run. I'm very happy with that. This is such an enjoyable game. Okay, how much are you? Gains +1 projectile speed every level. Yeah, there's our first check mark. Well, actually, technically, that's not true. I did the bonus level with this guy. Because, again, I like the garlic. I think the garlic is a fun weapon. I hate you. You suck. But, yeah. Don't know what weapon that is. That might suck. Oh, God. That might suck. I'm curious to try this out. I have no idea what unlocks stage 4. Because I found both the relics. But, you know, let's just go in and find out. Cat. I saw it there for a second. We've gotten some of these. How does this character work? Did the cat hurt me? Okay, this might be harder than I thought. Yeah, sure, let's make this even more difficult on ourselves. I don't know how the cat works. Like, not at all. Yes, please, give me something I can use here. I can see it when you get it to, like, high enough level, it becomes really powerful. I can see it being one of those things. But at the moment, I don't feel like it's helping me that much. But yeah, so I've been, you know, I've been playing this game and I've been having fun. 'Cause yeah, it's a really good game. And I knew I would like it. I just don't play Xbox games. You know? Even though Starfield is coming. The Starfield went gold recently. And I basically think on the same day it went gold, they sent out review codes. So I'm pretty sure reviewers have copies now. Oh, yes, please. Yes, finally. So yeah, as far as I know, review codes are, you know, out there. So that means, you know, stuff is eventually going to get leaked and whatnot. But, you know, I've said it before, if Starfield reviews well, then I will buy an Xbox. Honestly, there's a chance that even if it doesn't review well, I will still probably buy an Xbox. You know, I don't know. I've been looking at those Series X's, and like one went on sale for like $250, and I'm like, that's cheaper than a Switch. And using that to play Starfield? Huh. Sure? So I'm definitely thinking, because Starfield comes out in like 2 weeks. Maybe 3 weeks. It might actually be 3 weeks. But it'll be here sooner rather than later. And, I'm still very curious about it. Again, we are not streaming Starfield. I have said that multiple times. I have no interest in streaming it, but I will definitely play it. Seems like it'll be a very fun play game. I'm basically just making my character from the previous run, but now with a cat. That I don't understand how it works. Yeah, anything else? I did play some Skitty Skylines. You know, I built my very straight town that was, you know, all just straight lines and boxes. Mostly, actually not boxes. I mean, they were, but they were rectangles. Right? Just a bunch of rectangles. Very simple, straightforward, easy town. And it was actually going pretty well. And, like, you could see my progression, like, as I unlocked things. Like, oh, hey, I just unlocked this new thing, right? Like, oh, hey, guess what? I just unlocked solar power. Now I guess it's time to build a new solar power district. Oh, I just unlocked nuclear weapons? Well, I guess it's now time to build a nuclear weapons, or, not nuclear weapons, a nuclear power plant. Well, I guess I'm going to build a nuclear power plant district. But it's all kind of come crashing down on me, because so many people are dying, and I just only have, like, I don't have enough graveyards, I guess, or I don't know. So many of the houses, like I went and focused on like one area, like I was building a new area of town. So I was focusing in on that, not paying attention to the other 3 areas. And while I was building this new area, so many buildings were being abandoned, so many people were dying, and like, I know there's something I can probably do about that, but I don't know what that is. So I'm just kind of winging it, you know, and hoping everything works out in the end. I mean, we'll see, I guess. Yeah, so it looks like if we touch the cat, it does hurt me. But it also does a lot of damage to enemies, but what its movement pattern is, I have no idea. So yeah. But no, City Skylines has been fine. The deluxe edition, or the remastered edition of like the PS, because I've been playing the PS4 edition, and I saw that the PS5 edition went on sale, and I was like, for like $10, and I'm like, do I buy that? I would have bought it if I could have transferred over my save file from the PS4 to the PS5 edition. Right? Like if I could have brought over my town that I'd been working on. But because I can't, I decided not to. So that kind of sucks, you know. I would have loved to have brought over my town. I also think, I know a bunch of the DLC went on sale as well. So I'm also thinking about that. That maybe I'll go pick up some of the DLC. But I don't know. It is just an option after all. Oh, okay. I didn't even mention I was kind of sick this week. I forgot I had to even mention that. Yeah, I was feeling a little under the weather all week. Kind of sucked, but you know, the day goes on. I have no idea if these cats are any good. If I knew how they worked, I would feel a little better. But the fact that I don't doesn't make me feel good. Oh shit. Oh shit. Oh, you know what I did play? I played a little Stardew Valley. I started a brand new Stardew Valley farm. Only played a few days. Like, not even... I didn't even get through the first month of spring. Just, like, very casual. And, you know, it's fun. Stardew Valley is a fun game. I do enjoy it. I do definitely have to put more time into it, obviously. But, yeah, you know, very casual thing. Just getting myself started. Doing a little bit of farming and whatnot. I'm trying... On this... Because my last playthrough, I did a lot of fishing. So this playthrough, I'm like, nope, I'm just going to almost completely avoid fishing. Instead, I'm going to do other shit. What the other shit is, I don't know. I'll figure it out. God, these cats. See, I just have no idea how they work. I'm also surprised we haven't got a single bird upgrade. My little dove. We'll probably honestly go until the end of this run. That's probably when this stream ends. Is that would make, what, 3 runs tonight? Maybe... No, 3 runs tonight. Wow. It's not great, but... Still over an hour. That's 3 hours down. Yeah, I honestly, this is basically going to be my game until Starfield comes out in, like, again, 2 to 3 weeks. I'm just going to be playing Vampire Survivors and, I don't know, whatever else I casually put some time into. So, I'm at an impasse here. So we've got these two upgrades for weapons. I'll just get another Hollow Heart. I don't know. I wish I had, some sort of regeneration. I know there's that health regeneration one. Oh, this might be the end of us. Oh, shit. Oh, my God. We barely got out of the way. We need some health. Yeah, I haven't really been playing anything else, you know. I still want to play the Oracle games, you know. I said I was so excited for the Oracle games to come to Switch. And since they have, I just have been like, you know, I'd rather play something else. You know, I'd rather play something more casual than Oracle of Ages or Seasons. Because that's like an actual game that takes like actual time and actual like brain thinking processing power. Whereas right this, I can just wander around with, again, maybe a single Joy-Con. I haven't tested it yet, but that seems like it would work. But I'm just so glad it's come to Switch, man. I've been waiting. I have been waiting for so long. I don't know if I don't think these cats are any good. I don't know. I might be completely wrong, but these cats. I mean, they seem kind of strong, but it's just their movement pattern's so random that it never feels like they're helping with anything. Oops. Let's just skedaddle. So I guess we should go to the outro, because I can't think of anything else, and we're about to die. Yeah, no, I don't know if that cat is any good. Again, I could see when you level it up, maybe it becomes really strong, but at the point we had it, it just was not doing the damage. I felt like we were not getting that many upgrades. So, yeah. So let's go to the bestiary. See? Skeletons. What an army of darkness would be complete without skeletons. They are highly disciplined, incredibly vengeful, and very unionized. Ah, don't you love it? I'm so excited. I'm gonna eventually just sit down and read all of these at some point. Why simply work with the small folk to death? Work them beyond it. This is Cardinal Necromancers laughed as they turned to the grave for a cheap alternative to labor that needed rest and food. Sadly for them, while their new workers slept, not feeding was a whole other matter. Mudmen of the Mad Forest were once ordinary villagers, but cultural disagreements over whether it was acceptable to cover oneself in mud and beat passing heroes to death led them to found their own society where it's acceptable to cover oneself in mud and beat passing heroes to death. So the first sprouted total eclipse of the sun. Blooms appear when they're at least needed. Say they appear all the time. Pure fabrication of the idle fantasy of the brains. Gripped with the fever of boredom, there's no simple way to be mocked as ridiculous. These particular apparitions are probably just a trick of the light. Tricks of the light that have hit points too. Said to have evolved from verminous creatures that flocked from a world trapped in time. The Lupin's nature is called into question, but if you ask them their opinions, they'll tear you to shreds with an uncommon brutality. You must be sensitive about that. Its knowledge is not known. It ceases to be knowledge. Its inland library, vitriol swells of forbidden lore, yearns and indescribable itself into an open mind, left for decades with only dust for company. That lore made a home for itself. Fortunate are we are, Dust Elementals have no tongue to speak. Some say these many-limbed beasts descend from the great Lord of Hell, whose domain is healing, arts, and philosophy. A noble lineage claimed for what clearly results in some drunk necromancy and a sewing kit. And finally, a milk elemental. Behold, the blasphemy of lactose-mancy. These homogenized horrors were formulated to pulverize and pasteurize in the name of their intolerant milk mages. Anyone who's tried the cream at the end up torn in half and half. The entry has been condensed for those who prefer the skim. Again, these are so much fun. All these little entries are so much fun. Yeah. Because again, that honestly, the first time I ever heard of this game was through Podquisition. I have been trying to get caught up on Podquisition. Now that I beat Tears of the Kingdom, I have been throughout the past 2 weeks, I have been trying to get caught up on Podquisition. Because it's not like I have anything else to do. I have so much else to do. But you know what again, no movies, no television. Okay, I haven't stopped watching them, but we can't talk about them. And I need to... one of the things we can talk about is Dropout. And I keep forgetting to talk about Mentopolis. Because I have been watching Mentopolis, the new season of Dimension 20. And I just keep forgetting to talk about it. I listened to the second episode earlier today. Shit. And I meant to talk about it last week as well, and I just completely forgot. I'll add it to the schedule for next week, and we will for sure talk about Mentopolis. But, just to put it quick, I've been enjoying it. You know, I like the characters. It's cool to see Freddie Wong and one of the Greens, Hank, John, Conrad. That, it took me, throughout the entire first episode, I was like, Conrad Shins. What the fuck? The other ones, right? Imelda Pulse, A Tension, Hunch Curio, Dan Fox, right? They're all very obvious names. And then Conrad Shintz. I was like, what the fuck is this supposed to be? And then at the top, and that was the entire first episode. And then at the top of the second episode, they say, oh, the Conscience. And I was like, oh, okay. I was just an idiot. It had completely slipped by me. For some reason, adding Rad just completely threw me off. But, now that I have it, I'm like, okay, that's clever. And it's fun. Episode 2 was great. The ice skates. Nostalgias. Oh, God, it was great. Yeah, so we'll talk more about it next week, because it's one of the things I can't talk about. Right? It has been clear. It got cleared literally, the day before episode 1 came out. So, yeah. So, what's coming up in the future of the stream? Pokemon DLC in September. Spider-Man in October. Splatoon in September. Probably also I'll return to Splatoon next week. Maybe, I don't know, maybe we'll play more Vampire Survivors. I felt like the show went okay. It didn't take up too much of my... Because the problem with finding an in-chat game is you want something that uses enough brain power, but not too much brain power. That's the problem with something like Minecraft, even though I've used it multiple times, is that Minecraft, I'm always like, okay, we're trying to talk about things, but in the back of my head, I'm still like, okay, here's the checklist of shit we gotta do. Whereas this, I can just spin like a ballerina. Spinning like a ballerina. So, yeah, we'll figure it out. Summons purchase projectiles might interact with pickups. Best with luck and floor chicken. Armor, duration, and speed. Yeah, no, I love this garlic so much. And the Soul Eater is pretty decent. Yeah, there's still so much. I've only seen 47 of the 165 things. So there's still a lot more to do. There's a lot more time to put into this game. But it's a really good game. I do highly recommend it. So I'll be definitely playing that off stream. And then anything else? No. Not that I can think of. Again, there's always something to do that I always do. Like, I've been meaning to edit the Pikmin stream, and I always just forget to do it. I'm like, same thing with the TikToks. Like, it's been, I think it's like a month, like, Sunday since I last posted anything on TikTok. And I just I'm like, oh yeah, I just need to sit down and take, like, 2 hours to, set up, like, another, like, dozen of those. And I don't know, I just haven't. But I will at some point. Same thing with Pikmin 3. I have 2 Bluey videos done. I have the Season 2 and 3 Bluey videos done. And I haven't uploaded them. Because, one, I think the Season 2 video kind of sucks. Like, I talk about things that take up too much of my attention. Splat Zones, I think, is perfect. More or less. Salmon Run is too much. And we were doing Salmon Run when I was talking about crying during Bluey Season 2. And it was just too much. And, like, I just completely lose the train of thought. And the Season 3 video, God, I don't even remember. But I have them both done. But because of the writer's strike and whatnot, I've just kind of been sitting on them. So go play Vampire Survivors. Great game. Highly recommend it. And until next time, I hope you all enjoyed. Stay tuned for more. Till next time, peace.